Good morning, students. Today in this video we are going to cover chapter 3rd, Glimpses of the Past, from the book Honeydew, written by famous writer S.D. Sawant. This lesson is explained in comic style and is one of the popular drama of S.D. Sawant. S.D. Sawant was born on 31st August 1940 in Maharashtra, India. His famous work are Our Freedom Movement, The Gandhi Story, Mrityunjay, Surajya Ka, Surya, Yugandhar, and he was the first Marathi writer to be awarded with prestigious Murti Devi Award in 1994. He died on 18 September 2002 at Goa in India. The story that we shall read is taken from his book Our Freedom Movement. This chapter enables you to understand the British Empire in India, and you will get the knowledge about freedom fighters from the chapter. It will also enable you to order the events that occurred in the past in specific time, that is in chronological order. You would develop the feeling of love and patriotism towards the nation and the freedom fighters. This chapter contains the history of our country during 1757 to 1857, about 100 years, when India was under the British rule and Indian kings were dethroned by the British East India Company, and the Indian people were lived a miserable life during this period in every field or in every sphere. Students, you know already that we had a glorious past. India's splendor and prosperity caused many foreign invasions. Our country attracted many foreigners towards it. So one of the foreign superpowers, the English, had captured this golden bird and ruled it for about 200 years. When the British gradually transitioned their position from traders to rulers, many Indians tried to protest against them. But it didn't happen overnight. This took more than 100 years, that is between 1757 to 1857, and the protest ultimately resulted in the revolt of 1857, or also known as the First War of Independence. This chapter gives us glimpses of crucial instances, means examples, which took place during this period. So let's begin the chapter, The Glimpses of the Past by S.D. Sawant. Okay. Now the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for their country or other beliefs. Means, what is the meaning of martyrs? Martyrs are the people who sacrifice their lives for their country or the beliefs. Student, you know that India had a glorious past. Okay. This lesson is about the Indian freedom struggle. The British came to India for the purpose of trade, but they subdued Indian rulers when they found loopholes in their administrations. Means, what is the meaning of loopholes? Means drawback. Okay, in their administration they oppressed the native people and levied heavy taxes upon them and put them behind the bars when they protested. However, revolt was begun from Indian side. With the coming of leaders and social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, in 1857, Indian rulers faced British forces directly. Battles were fought all over the North India to set the country free from the British hold. Now you can see at a function in Delhi in January 1963, Lata Mangeshkar sang the famous song by poet Pradeep, "O my countrymen, let your eyes filled with tears as you recall the India's martyrs." In Hindi, "ऐ मेरे वतन के लोगों ज़रा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी ज़रा याद करो कुर्बानी." It is said to have moved Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to tears. Means this song moved Pandit Nehru to tears. He burst into tears after listening to this song. Means the famous singer Lata Mangeshkar sang a patriotic song about the martyrs who sacrificed their lives while serving the nation to gain independence. Leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and then Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi listened to the song that encouraged everybody to remember and mourn or express sadness, the sacrifice of the freedom fighters. Thus, this story reflects some glimpses of the Indian history from 1757 to 1857 and of the situations that led Indians of their the first war of independence, meaning Jawaharlal Nehru was reminded of Gandhiji, Bhagat Singh, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Chandrasekhar Azad, Sukhdev, and many other leaders or revolutionaries. This song brought tears in the eyes of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Number 2, the company's conquest, 1757-1849. Okay. Conquests means victories from 1715 to 1849. The British East India Company, with its superior weapon, was extending its power in India in the 18th century. Here the superior weapons means the company possessed latest weapons and firearms or weapons which could kill the mass number of soldiers at once. Whereas Indian rulers used to fight with swords and spears, means the company was stronger or at the stronger position than the Indian rulers in 1757. Okay. Now, next, this one paragraph. Indian princes were short-sighted. Okay. That upstart Rajah called the English merchants, they will help me to defeat him. Now we have become slaves of foreigners. I'm going to explain this page. Besides, Indian princes were short-sighted. How were they? They were short-sighted in their approach to the events of the time to be faced with great difficulties. Indian princes were fighting against each other. They often means they looked for the help of the East India Company to defeat their rivalries, means other princes of the same land. This situation worked in favor of the company, means of British. The British East India Company now easily subdue, means control these princes one after the other. Okay. However, the brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore fought against Britishers bravely. He did not allow Britishers to enter his territory. He died in the battlefield fighting the Britishers. The general reaction to the British, rule was not the same everywhere. Like Tipu Sultan, he opposed the British to enter or to control his territory, but it didn't happen everywhere in India. Some of the rulers expressed gratitude towards Britishers for ushering, means bringing in an era of peace in their territories, while others bemoaned, means they expressed sorrow that now the country would be subjected to the foreign rule or the Britishers. Okay, next page now. British rule 1765-1836. Children, India was a society which was full of social evils. Indian society was full of social evils. The social fabric was in bad shape. Religious leaders like Pandits and Maulvis preached absurd, means illogical, wildly unreasonable practices like sati system, untouchability, and child marriage, parda system, etc. Okay, to be very candid, Indians had lost their self-respect. The British scorned them. They scorned means they rejected Indian people. Consequently, the farmers and the artisans, and who were the worst hit? These people who were the worst hit, farmers and artisans. And who are the artisans? Like who grow crops and all that, those who work on farms and work with the like cottage industries, all that, artisans, they suffered a lot. Okay, heavy taxes ruined the farmers. The British cut the thumbs of expert artisans. They used every method to make maximum profits by hook and crook. The imports from England became the tax-free. No tax was levied on that import. Then next page. Raja Ram Mohan Roy 1772-1833. Ram Mohan Roy was a learned man from Bengal. Okay, who was he? He was the social reformer, and he was very learned man from Bengal. He understood what was wrong with the country. He was keenly aware of the social evils prevailed in Indian society. He tried to reform the society. He taught people that the main precepts of all religions are the same. We are the children of the same God. He emphasized the practical use of knowledge. He went to England and reminded the British that also had a duty. They had also a duty towards their subjects. He started publishing newspaper in India that were stopped by the suspicious Britishers. When they stopped his papers, they stopped his papers in 1823. Now next topic is, fifth topic is Operation 1765 to 1835. So in spite of the efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, that is reminding the Britishers of their duties, they continued to oppress Indian people. In 1818, a resolution was passed. According to the act, Indian people, and they could be sent to jail without any trial in a court. Means Britishers could send any Indian to the jail without trying him in the court, without proving his guilt. This act of the British people was very unjust and unlawful. The British officers drew large salaries, they earned huge profits in India. Besides, they made fortunes in business. By 1829, Britain was exporting goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. Even the British Governor General of India, Lord William Bentinck, reported to England, "The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India." Means William Bentinck made this statement in England to highlight the plight, means unpleasant condition and misery of the traditional cotton weavers in India, particularly in northern plains, due to the ruins caused by British commercial policies. Thus, the British prospered became rich on the ruins of Indian industries. Now the dissatisfaction. 1835 to 56. As the medium of education in India was either in Sanskrit or Persian. So in 1835, Lord Macaulay suggested that the medium of education in India should be English. As the British government wanted to produce an army clerk for them, the proposal was carried. And it worked. Really, it worked. But it also produced a new generation of intellectuals who educated the masses. They educated other people. Okay. And they also carried grievances of Indians to the British people. Means they reported miseries of Indian people to the British people. By 1856, the British brought the whole country under their control. You can see in the map. Now the whole India was under British control. Okay. And they cared little about the requirements of Indian people. When Indian people looked towards Indian princes for the help, they felt themselves so helpless, as Indian princes already became the puppets in the hand of the Britishers. Indians also found that British missionaries started converting Indian people into Christianity. Consequently, the dissatisfaction among the Indian people began to grow stronger day by day. Now every person wanted to get rid of the Britishers or the British Raj. Okay. Now the next page, 7 number, is the Sparks, 1855 to 57. Now here we will discuss about the sparks that led Indian people to the path of independence. So taxes continued to ruin the peasants all over the country under the British rule. Subsequently, under the new rules, Santals were the tribal people. Okay, they lived in jungle in Bengal, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. They became very hopeless. In 1855, they rose in rebellion. You can see in the picture. And massacred, means killed, the Europeans and their servants alike. The discontent was brewing in the East India Company's army also. For disparities between Indian and the European sepoys. Sepoy Mangal Pandey attacked the adjutant, means military officer, for which he was executed later on. Indian sepoys were disheartened when they were religiously hurt. You can see both Hindu and Muslims, they were religiously hurt. Okay, after all this, chapatis were distributed. They were sent from village to village with the message that their native emperor would want their service. Okay. Similarly, a lotus flower was circulated among Indian soldiers. The people also gave all their support and help to the revolutionaries and patriots. Now, eighth one point, Revolt, 1857. Now next, there was a violent outbreak in Meerut. All the sepoys who had revolted against the British marched. What do you mean by marched? They drilled, they went to Delhi and united under the leadership of the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar. They were shouting the slogans in favor of Bahadur Shah Zafar. They spread wider from north to south and west to east. North to south and west to east. West to east means from Jammu and Kashmir to Tamil Nadu or Kerala, and then from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh. Many landlords, businessmen, farmers, all who lost their possessions joined the revolt. Okay, now next page, that is the fight for freedom, 1857. Many kings and rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter as the English had taken away their territories. Popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Faizabad urged common people to join the revolt. Azimullah Khan and Tatya Tope, they both fought under the leadership of Nana Sahib of the War of Independence. All over North India, the people fought pitched battles against the British. 80-year-old Kunwar Singh, you can see here the picture. How many years old was he? He was 80 years old. And he was from Bihar. He received a bullet in his wrist. He just cut it off. He cut off his wrist and threw his cut hand into the Ganges. Ganges means river Ganga, saying that it was his last offering to Mother Ganga. Okay, so that all about the glimpses of the past. I hope you have understood the chapter very well. Thank you so much.